Hey y'all, it's SNC, and I got the post free agency and Prog's rosters as well as the training camp options for the 1978 offseason. Um, yeah, so for once again, like last year, I won't be showing the actual Prog screen. I'm going to be showing it in the roster menu. That just like reduces the confusion because the Prog screen isn't accurate. Uh, when I'm doing the thing with the intangibles, that makes the contracts uh and like overalls more accurate, but doesn't actually affect their play. And I don't want there to be any confusion, so I'll just be showing the roster screen. And if you want to know the exact amount players have improved and regressed, compare it to the roster video from right before free agency. And without further ado, let's get started. Also, as you can see here with Brad Davis, there's a green arrow that looks the like what shows up on progs, but that's morale, not actual improvement. And same thing with like the red arrows that point down. Uh, that's also morale. Those players are just not happy. They're not actually improved. That's not actual improvement or progression. Anyways, let's get started. Maravich dropped a bit for the Sixers. He's still really good though, so his team is still pretty good. I think they did get a bit worse, but they are still good. And Brad Davis did improve a bit, so they should still be really good this year. The Bucks. Bridgman and Keenan both went up, and Eddie Johnson. So they should continue to be a really good team. The Bulls, Dantley's into the 90s now. Let's see if he plays like it, but he improved for sure. We'll see how Buckner does on a new team. Cavs, Gus Williams is into the 90s now. Dennis Johnson, 88. Maybe that Randy Smith loss isn't really going to change a lot for them. We'll see. Still look really good there. Celtics, Sigma, and Reed are up. Alvin Adams getting into the 90s is pretty huge. This team actually looks pretty solid, so we'll see how it plays out. Clippers pretty much the same team. Unsolid is dropping, but yeah, still look pretty good, and wouldn't be surprised to see them back in the finals next year. Oh, and Hollins did go up, so yeah, we'll see. The Hawks, they filled out their team with like a lot of their expirings had qualifying offers, so they're back, but still pretty terrible. The Heat, um, Earl Monroe is regressing pretty hard. Same with Bingo Smith. Didn't really get much improvement from Eddie Jordan. Pat Riley's regressing. Yeah, this team looks pretty bad. The Hornets, Alex English all the way up to a 90. Their new addition of Matt Calvin did drop a bit, but he's still definitely like a starting level point guard, and he'll probably actually be coming off the bench for this team anyways. But they should be really, really good now with English up to a 90. Jazz, pretty similar, slight improvement from John Lucas, but that's about it. The Kings, once again, a team with not much going on except Johnny Davis going up. So they should be pretty great again this year. Oh, Dino Menigan, actually. Yeah, it looks like he's out of his prime. The Knicks, they actually got a bit lucky. Tiny didn't regress at all this year, which is interesting. Or maybe he regressed, but he didn't like drop in overall, which is interesting, especially after last year. So we'll see how that's going. Goodrich did drop down to a 76. The Lakers, looks like David Thompson might have hit his peak. Which, I mean, it's a pretty amazing peak. Marquez Johnson improved. And you have slight drops from Slick Watson, Alvin Hayes, and what's his name? Jeff Petrie. But yeah, this team should still be amazing. The Magic, Bubbles Hawkins was one of the biggest improvements. Yeah, 87. Dave Logan back up into the 80s. Uh, Lacey and Dolapogic didn't really change at all. They're just a bit unhappy, but Bubbles Hawkins should have a great year for them. Dallas, Toby Knight is up a lot. He's looking like a real steal right now. The Nets slash Wizards, pretty much nothing except JoJo White, down to a 77. Looking super washed right now. Nuggets, slight improvements from Free and Parrish. Uh, Calvin Murphy and John Havlicek are dropping crazy, but that big three is still super strong. The Pacers, Moses up to a 94. Otis Birdsong up. Mike Flynn, who the Warriors still have the opportunity to match him until the season's, or I don't know how until how much time I'll give them, but still do have the opportunity to match him. But if the Pacers are able to keep Mike Flynn, that's a huge pickup. Rick Barry did drop, but he's still a starter level player. And even if they do lose Mike Flynn, they still do have Pierluigi Maserati and Paul Griffin, who I assume is probably going to play the four. So, yeah, still looking like a pretty good team this year. Grizzlies, Walter Davis and Daryl Dawkins. Um, I don't think Daryl Dawkins actually improved that much. It looks like he's approaching his apex, but Walter Davis up to an 86, looking pretty close to, or he's looking like a star now, and maybe not just because he's on a terrible team chucking, like a legit star. Uh, Bob Bigelow, I think, was the only other improvement for this team. He was looking like a really good shooter for them. Pistons, um, not much. I mean, Lucius Allen is dropping a bit, but pretty much it. They were getting a lot of free agency signings, but they just kept getting matched. So, we'll see how good this team is, but that top three is still really strong, especially Kareem at the top. And this is probably the biggest one. Bernard King is up to a 95 overall. Wow. Um, +5 for Bernard King. This team is going to be a problem this year. Winters, I don't think that's real regression. He did drop one, but that happens a lot in 2K where players go up one and down around their peaks, and he's about to hit his peak, so probably just dropped a bit athletically or something. I don't think he's actually regressing. Yeah, the starting five is looking dangerous. Bernard King is probably gonna put himself in MVP conversations this year. Huskies look dangerous. Uh, Not much with the Rockets. Do have some young guys, but no one that's like projected to be a real star. So they'll probably be tanking again this year. And this upcoming class is really strong, so maybe they can get their franchise player. The Spurs, Norm Nixon up to an 83. Starting five is looking really, really good. Michael Thompson off the bench too. It's a steal in the draft. Um, or a lot of people think he was a steal. See about that, but starting five is looking sick. Suns, Ricky Green up a bit. Um, Cowens is probably going to start regressing soon, but he didn't regress this year, so we'll see how far he can carry them. Sonics. Yeah, not much going on around here. Um, this is going to be interesting. John Drew is finally the lone star on his team, and Mickey Johnson is going to get the chance to be a second option. So we'll see how good this team is this year. Um, should be very interesting to see them. Timberwolves, some improvement from some of the younger guys. Not much else. Lou Hudson did drop a bit, but pretty much it. Stanos might have reached his apex already, I think. Um, Blazers, doesn't look like anything major with them either. The Warriors, uh, whatever. They do have three lottery picks coming in this year, so see how they perform. And I would expect them to match Mike Flynn. I think they might trade him, but at the very least match him because that's a pretty damn good player. They might be losing for nothing. The Bullets, horrendous. Um, Michael Cooper as a rookie's the best player on the team. I should tell you all you need to know. Willis Reed's still sticking around, but yeah, this team sucks. And that is the last team. So that was it for all the rosters after Progs, and now I'll show you the training camp options. Um, this league's at training camps. Okay, here. So once again, just like last year, every team has two camps. You can't use them on the same player, but uh, you have two camps you can pick two players you want to use them on. So let's scroll through them. The first one's big man offense. You can see on the left what it upgrades. Perimeter shooting, offensive fundamentals, rebounding, conditioning, athleticism, big man defense, perimeter defense, combo guard, basketball 101, untapped potential, free throw, and weight. Free throw actually upgrades the entire team at free throws. So if you use, you can still use that. Like you can still get a player's free throw up if you use a different camp on them because it upgrades the entire team. And DM me with which camps you want to use and on what players. And I think that's it. So uh, thanks for watching, and once again, thanks for participating in the league. Uh, yeah, it wouldn't be possible without the GMs, obviously.